the name Westhead. Let's move to men's basketball for a second. This call. Good evening and welcome to Fairfax Talks.
Yes, hi, this is Jimmy Johnson. I'm a Reston resident. Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, Supervisor Dix, I want to compliment you on the great job you're doing here as Supervisor in Fairfax County.
Thank you.
I do have a question regarding George Mason and their sports program. It is wonderful. It is an excellent institution. As far as soccer goes, I've checked out their soccer team. They're wonderful. And here in Reston, I'm sure you know, there are many soccer teams and soccer players with the, I guess, large South American population we have. I mean, you can't even go to a park now without getting hit in the head with a soccer ball. Everybody loves soccer. It's a great sport.
Yes.
But what I really would like to know is, what is your opinion on how it's done in BaBaBooey, 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 BaBaBooey.
Thank you.
Papa Stinky.
Well,
Can't be a George Mason graduate.
no, I guess not. Well, let's talk a little bit more. How will the game... Good evening and welcome to Fairfax Talks.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Just fine, thank you.
My name is John Waddleman, and I'm on the executive board out here in Reston at the PRC Corporation.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to express my full support for the three of you. I think the job you're doing as public officials is a fine job.
Thank you very much.
As far as Supervisor Dix is concerned, I think it's really high time someone stood up and spoke on your behalf. I am absolutely thrilled to see you stand up against these negative and false personal allegations that have been aimed at you. You're doing a fine job in spite of this negativity. But I also feel that every single supporter and constituent of yours, we have a right to know about the new allegations that you once sexually harassed Howard Stern, BaBaBooey, and
Oh, I've heard from you once before. Fax Talks.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Just fine, thank you.
Last week, Supervisor Dix, I was, as well as my coworker, was invited to an environmental presentation that I believe you attended or took part in. It was last Wednesday or last Thursday. And it mentioned that you were going to be there. It was about basically Northern Virginia and a reduction in the pollution and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Anyway, one of my coworkers attended, but she didn't see one of the keynote speakers there, Barbara. And I was wondering why...
Oh, you're going to do it to me again this month, aren't you? Yeah, I knew it. I knew you had me again. Well, that's okay. You see, now I'm beginning to recognize the voice. Good evening and welcome to Fairfax Talks.
Good evening. My name is Spencer, and I'm calling from Fairfax. Earlier, you mentioned the bus issue.
Yes, sir.
About the transportation. Would you foresee an increase in the cost to ride the bus as a way to subsidize it?
No. In fact, one of the beauties of this program is that part of the contractual arrangement will be that the fares stay where they are now. And in fact, even those that have MetroCheck cards or other fare cards will be able to utilize them on this service.
That is great. Now, would Metro have an effect with that?
As far as
the actual cost, would they have a say-so in, I guess, the pricing of it?
No, because that's part of the regional compact, and that's how this will integrate into that whole program.
I see. Now, would of the drivers of the buses, would BaBaBooey be driving?
I thought I recognized you. That's okay. Thank you for calling. It's always great to have you each month with us from the Fairfax Talks.
Hi, Miss Meyer.
Yep. Go right ahead.
The volunteering program, does it include the services of BaBaBooey and BaBaBooey?
Oh, yeah. We do have another call. Good evening and welcome to Fairfax Talks.
Good evening. I have a question for Senator Howell.
Okay.
Does she support Fairfax Stinky and BaBaBooey?
Thank you very much for your call. It's several months in a row now. I told them you might call. Thank you. I think this is terrific. We do have another call. Good evening and welcome to Fairfax Talks.
Good evening. My name is Ahan Tren, and I'm calling from Reston over in the Hunters Wood area.
Good evening.
I want to ask Mr. Simon, when he initially developed Reston, did he anticipate such a heavy multicultural community? And second, to Supervisor Dix, I watch the program every month. I get plenty of information. It is a very serious show, a very good show. I fail to see why every month there are phone calls regarding a Fafa Stinky and a Fafa Hooey.
You got me again. That's 3 out of 4 months. It's appreciate your call. That's okay. We'll continue. I told you that might happen, so we'll just go on. That's what live television is all about. That's okay. We were talking about community space, and we kind of talked about that.
towards